Hello everybody, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas here. Today I'm going to do a video I'm going to call Proven Facts. And I sat down earlier at my computer and wrote one-liners, little paragraphs of it's a proven fact this. And every one of them, I'm thinking I have a picture, I have a police report, I have a recording, I have some document, some kind of piece of evidence to back up this fact, okay? And like many people have told me before, I believe you, and I appreciate that, you know. But thankfully, this story isn't based on my ability to convince you, and you believe in me. All you have to do is look at the evidence, and then it's not that, you know, it's not my word against their word. I mean, that's all there is to it. This is like a Facebook post I saw one time, you know, there's what I say, there's what you say, and then there's my screenshots, you know, and then that proves what was said, you know, and you know, and that's really what the story is. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to go through here. I'm not going to show you that piece of evidence. That is on my YouTube and Facebook and in these videos. And the other thing I've recently started doing was I pinning a comment at the top of each video that just gives you a short history and some video links to some of the main videos to kind of give people that are new to the story, they can go back and go, okay, I see what's going on here. You know, he transferred here, he did this, here's this, you know, and here's this murder, here's that murder, here's that murder, here's these secret police, here's that secret police, etc. Okay, and so we can find the facts backing this up, but I'm trying to keep it short, and that's why I'm just leaving out that part, you know. But once again, if you hear me say it's a proven fact, then there's a document backing it up, and it's posted in the public. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. And I tried to do in a certain order by the time I got here, and sometimes I think about them and then write it down, so it got a little bit out of order. But I tried to start, you know, back at the beginning, and this isn't all of them. You know, this is just what I was thinking of off the top of my head. There's so many of them that you can't imagine, you know, because it's like all the different homes where somebody was reported in the attic. I recorded police scanner call. Well, I could do a one-liner and going, it's a proven fact that the police were dispatched to, you know, whatever, Providence Drive, Midland, Texas on this date. I could, but I didn't. It's a fact that they arrested a woman in Carlsbad, New Mexico, who was claiming that she set her home on fire because of people in the attic. Okay, I know. Well, you know, that is a fact. I got the news stories on it. You know, it did happen, but I'm not going to show you that. It is on my YouTube channel. Let's get started. It's a proven fact. You're going to hear me say that a lot. It's a proven fact that Hailey Escobar Sanchez was reported missing from Odessa, Texas on July 12, 2008. 3 months before Michael Hunt, the previous owner of my home, died, and I transferred to Midland. Okay, it also a fact that I contacted the Odessa Crime Stoppers in 2013, and I suggested they look in my backyard, or my west yard, where I had found half-buried, cut-up clothes and smelled death in that area right after moving here in 2008. Another fact is that Aaron Packelhofer asked me if I knew the names of the 4 people who had been murdered, died in my home, and that a former neighbor, Marilyn DeLuigi, had told me somebody died in my home before Michael Hunt did. It's an absolute fact that I suspect that Hailey Escobar Sanchez might have been murdered at this house. Next one. It's a proven fact that Michael Hunt, previous owner of my home, died the week before the 2008 oil show started, and the Odessa American posted 2 death notices for him. The first one said he died in Fort Worth, and the second one said he died at his residence, which was here, which confirms what a former neighbor, Marilyn DeLuigi, had told me twice. It's also a fact that the Odessa American newspaper report recently deleted the first death notice from the internet after 12 years of being posted. I made videos, took screenshots, everything. Just recently deleted that. It's a fact that myself and many others believe that Mike Lawhon was murdered here in Midland and then taken to Fort Worth. It's a proven fact that the remains of a 14 to 21-year-old girl were found outside of Midland in August 2013, who is believed to be the victim of a homicide. There's a Crime Stoppers on that. It's also a fact that my friend from work told me about a young girl that was murdered at a party going on during the 2010 oil show, and that she was afraid to report this murder because of the high-level police that were also at that party. It's also a fact that I believe it was in the underground homes near my house, and that she was leaving my home and at that party within 5 minutes. Okay. Next one. It's a proven fact that 33-year-old landman attorney Matt Hyman died of a surprise heart failure on January 14, 2012, just 2 weeks before the murder attempt. It's also a fact that I'd put electricity on my bedroom doorknob that same night to stop another home invasion. Been reporting them for 14 months. It's a fact that two of Matt's friends, Hillman and Hertz, threatened me in an attempt to stop me from asking questions about Matt's death. It's a fact that I believe Matt Hyman's friends let Matt die in my hallway when they chose to not call for help after Matt grabbed my doorknob and was electrocuted, which stopped his heart. It's a fact that MPD Detective Rosa Rodriguez asked me at the ER if I had put electricity on the tie wire that I'd used to secure my spare door shut. That was 2 weeks later. Okay. That told me that detective knew about the electricity on my doorknob from 2 weeks earlier, and I hadn't reported that to the police. Okay. Next one. It's a proven fact that I called the police and reported my second burglary in January 2011, and that I'd heard somebody in my attic that time. It's also a fact that I reported burglar alarms going off in my attic when I was shot inside my home in January 2012, a year later. It's a fact that I've documented homeowners all over Midland, Odessa, Texas, and other states reporting people in the attic since then. Many of these are where I recorded a call directly from my police scanner. Okay. It's a fact that City Attorney Gates told me that the Midland Police Department stated that nobody had reported somebody in the attic in the last 10 years, even though I have the police report showing that I had, and I have all these other calls from other homeowners proving that they had too. It's also a fact that I've notified the press of these unique crimes many times over, and they've hidden that from the public. The question is why? It's a proven fact that I was shot from 2 inches above ground level inside my home 2 weeks after reporting a suspected tunnel to the DEA. We could just go to the DEA and ask for the records. And now there are multiple people documented saying that tunnels and underground facilities are here. It's a proven fact that the size of pellets removed from my foot and reported by the lab were 2.5 sizes different than the size of pellets that were in my gun. Proving I wasn't shot with my gun. Proving somebody came to my home and shot me from 2 inches above ground 2 weeks after I reported a suspected tunnel, and multiple people are saying tunnels, underground facilities are here. It's a proven fact that Lisa Rogers said that I was shot with a .45 handgun, and that actually fits the evidence. There wasn't enough physical room to be shot with a 4-foot-long shotgun. It's a proven fact that Secret Lab Tech user interface canceled the doctor's orders for 3 x-rays and reordered 2 x-rays before returning x-rays that were time-stamped 10 minutes before they were originally ordered by the doctor, by the ER doctor. It's a proven fact the ER doctor stated I had a through-and-through gunshot wound, which is what I said. But the x-rays taken before surgery showed a foot that was missing the heel bone. It's also a proven fact that my heel bone was cut off in one of the 2 surgeries, so it now matches the faked x-rays. It's a proven fact that I've stated many times based on evidence I was intentionally maimed, mutilated, and dismembered at the hospital to cover up a for-profit home invasion capital attempted murder that secret police were involved in. It's a proven fact that I recorded a woman telling me there were 4 3-bedroom underground homes here, which cost over $1 million each, and they had been having pedophile parties down there, sex with little kids. Okay, that's a YouTube video. It's on my YouTube channel. It's a proven fact. Okay, I gotta find where I'm at. It's also a fact that a swingers club in East Texas was busted in 2004, 2005 for having sex parties with children. That's a fact. Another fact is the Midland Reporter-Telegram stated that Midland has a large swinger population. There's another fact. It's a fact that I speculated that the swingers here were having sex parties in the underground homes, and maybe with children like their counterparts in East Texas. It's a proven fact that Google Maps is showing a large facility in my backyard, which can't be seen from above ground. It's a fact that I believe this is one of the underground homes and where the oil show parties were going on in 2010, where that young girl was murdered that I was told about. It's also a fact that Google Maps is showing a similar looking facility between Target and Home Depot. You can see that on Google Maps. It's a proven fact that the late brother-in-law of U.S. Congressman Mike Conaway lived at 3809 Fair Circle. His name was John LeJean, and that was before I transferred to Midland, bought my home. It's a fact that Congressman Conaway advised me to contact the U.S. Inspector General over the crimes at my home, but the Inspector General would never reply. It's a fact that another owner of that same home, what I call the Conaway home, used to own my home. Her name was Brandy Merrill. It's a proven fact that Rhonda Denman Rogers said an underground facility is a half block away from my home. Okay. It's also a fact there's a home a half block away which had the same mortar problem that my home had, and it has a water well next to it just like my home does. It's believed that the mortar problem come from digging under it. It's also a fact there is another home on Fairgreen Court which had the same mortar problem and a nearby water well. What a coinky dinky. It's a proven fact that Ricky Ronaldo said that him and his brother used to go in the tunnels under my home when they lived here. Got a print screen on that. Posted all the time. It's a proven fact that I secretly recorded Sheriff candidate Joe Lozano telling me that the underground homes here was the hideout for the late Sheriff Gary Painter. That's another YouTube video called Sheriff Painter's Hideout. It's also a fact that I'd emailed Painter over 20 times when he was sheriff evidence about the crimes at my home, which are believed to be multiple murders, and never even got a response. It's a proven fact that I mailed a packet of evidence concerning multiple murders to FBI Supervisor Brandon Griffith in 2016. It's also a fact that I then secretly recorded FBI Agent Powers calling me and telling me that he was going to destroy this evidence. It's also a fact that a woman told me Griffith quit the FBI and went to work for an oil company, XTO Energy, a Mobile Exxon company. Okay. It's a proven fact that the first owner of my home, Randy Offenberger, got a work permit in 1985 to install a sprinkler system. I went and got it from the city. And that he worked for Pioneer. Found that on his Facebook. That's a big oil company. It's a fact that this type of work would include digging. Digging. It's a fact that I believe the extra foot of dirt on top of my lawn was added during this time. That makes sense. It's a fact this time frame fits with what Layla O'Brien said about the underground safe house project, which was completed in 1987. Remember, that was in 85. Offenberger got a digging permit. He actually got a sprinkler install permit. Next. It's a proven fact that Ken Slager lived across the street from my home before I moved here, and that he was a commercial director for my company, DCP Midstream. It's a fact that his group took care of the booth at the oil show. And all of our landmen reported to him and to that group. It's a fact that Ken knew what kind of grass was planted in my lawn, and I suspect it was the grass that was planted after the foot of dirt was added on top. Where did that dirt come from? It's a proven fact. I suspect it come from the digging in the ditch, the basement building digging. Okay. It's a proven fact that 11 police were caught on camera after I'd been shot by surprise in my home. A camera they tried to disable. And it took 6 years to get them identified. I was under death threat all that time with people breaking my house. It's a fact that I nicknamed them the Secret Police, and I made videos about them which were seen by tens of thousands of people all over the world. Yet not a news story in the whole nation. Used to call them the first known secret police since Nazi Germany. Okay. It's a proven fact that I offered a $2,000 reward. I saved up disability money to identify those former secret police. And it's also a fact this was the first time in the history of America that a crime victim offered a reward to identify police. Not a news story in the nation. I said, how's that for a cover-up? You know, and just think if you could kill people and steal their property with that kind of cover-up. It's a proven fact that 6 of the 11 former secret police that were caught on camera were not dispatched, nor were they listed on the police report, because I got the police report in 2019. It's also a fact that 2 of the 11, Naylor and Simpson, died within 2 months of each other. Naylor was the second person to show up. And Simpson was involved in an alleged murder-suicide where Sandra Simpson was allegedly murdered by one of the secret police 2 months after Naylor died. It's a proven fact that the first secret police seen arriving at my home was former Martin County Sheriff John Woodward, and this is Midland County. Let that one sink in. A sheriff from a different county? It's a fact that it's never been explained why a sheriff from a different county was at my home minutes after a murder attempt. It's also a fact that it was reported in the news he got a Santa Muerta tattoo from an inmate while getting drunk with him in 2014. That is the saint of death, okay? That is worn by drug dealers, cartel members, and cult members, okay? And he checked an inmate out of jail, got drunk with him, and got this devil tattoo or whatever, Satanist tattoo. It's a fact that he was married to Devin Sanchez, a former News West 9 reporter and CBS 7 anchor that's suspected of deleting previous posted news stories to tamper with evidence to hamper the investigation in these murders and suspected murders, attempted murders. It's a fact that he pleaded guilty to felony assault in 2019 and was sentenced to 3 years probation. This is the sheriff, the first guy that showed up at my home minutes after I crawled out. Why did I crawl out? Because they cut my phone lines and then shot me from under my home. It's a proven fact that 5 police officers, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, were at or inside my home when they were not seen arriving on the security camera. How's that proven, buddy? Well, I've got the security camera pictures and I've got the police report. Boom. This is what told me they came in from the now removed trap door that the ex-wife had told me about and from where the gunshot come from. They're some of the top suspects for the would-be killers. It's a proven fact that MPD Lieutenant Dickey was inside my home at 11:05 p.m. shown on the police report, but he wasn't seen arriving on the security cameras that saw me crawl out and had seen Woodward and Naylor arriving at 11:01. That was only 4 minutes later. It's also a fact that I found pry marks on the top inside door jamb of my guest bathroom, which told me that a burglar had been trapped in my home before I was shot. Maybe that was motive for murder. It's a fact that I believe Lieutenant Dickey came in from the underground entrance in my home and let out the trapped burglar after I had been ambushed and shot. Let that sink in, that the police are assisting the burglars that are breaking in homes and threatening the lives of the citizens that are reporting the burglaries to the police. That's messed up. It's a proven fact that Arthur Welch, the former boyfriend of the ex-wife, posted on Facebook recently that he had overheard her planning my murder with some corrupt police to steal my life insurance, friends. It's a proven fact that it was stated in court that Detective Rosa Rodriguez was her lifelong friend. They went to grade school and elementary together. It's a proven fact Rosa Rodriguez closed my case. It's also a fact that he stated she told him, "I'll have you shot too." It's a proven fact that I made around 100 videos of burglar alarms going off in my home after being shot, with burglar alarms going off in my home, in my attic, and sometimes in my home. It's also a fact that I sent a list of 50 videos to the Midland Chief of Police, Mayor, and City Council in 2018, and this is when they blocked my emails while the crimes continued. I have the email screenshots of that. It's a proven fact that the ex-wife admitted on a recording made in 2011 to being a witness to the crimes at my home and admitted to attempt to extort around $1,800 a month from me over these crimes. Excuse me. It's a fact that she warned me if I didn't pay her the money, then she would tell everybody that I was crazy. I didn't take that threat serious enough. It's a fact that she said it was Greg that told her to try extortion. It's a fact that she testified in court on December 18, 2013 that I was delusional, which fulfilled her extortion threat after I didn't pay her. Question has been asked if her lifelong friend, Detective Rosa Rodriguez, that ruled my murder and accident, this murder attempt and accident, was planning on getting some of that extortion money. You know, that's unknown. That's not a fact yet. That's a question. It's a proven fact that MP Detective Rosa Rodriguez testified under oath that she found a tripwire tied to my shotgun. Whoa, really? It's also a fact that no tripwire was found in evidence. How could that be, buddy? Because I wasn't shot with my gun. It's a fact that none of the other dozen police here mentioned a tripwire. Oh, only Rosie saw it. And that included CSI Marty Barrett, the expert crime scene investigator. And he didn't say anything about a tripwire. Where are we at? It's a fact that multiple pieces of evidence shows that I wasn't shot with my gun. Then why would I have a tripwire on my gun that I wasn't shot with? It's a fact that Rosie Rodriguez perjured herself in court and lied on police reports in this capital attempted murder. That's an absolute fact. It's a proven fact that I have a picture of Midland detective Rosie Rodriguez leaned over my nightstand where my stolen cell phone had been planted. It's also a fact that she made up a lie and said that I told her my battery was dead on my phone, but the truth was my cordless phone sat on the charger all of the time, so it was fully charged. I didn't say that. I only had my cordless phone because my cell phone had been stolen. The one that was found behind the nightstand she was seen leaned over. After I was shot, I found the cordless phone was dead, which told me they had disconnected my home phone line and stolen my cell phone in preparation of shooting me. It was supposed to be an accident, and people have asked, why haven't you shot twice? Because then they couldn't call it an accident. They wanted it to look like an accident. It's a proven fact that the ex-wife took my life insurance booklets weeks before I'm shot and then brought them back to me. My sister-in-law saw them while she had them. It's a fact that them insurance books showed that if her friend ruled my murder an accident, it added an extra $500,000 to the benefit. Okay. It's a proven fact that the remains of Hailey Dunn, 13-year-old, famous missing murdered child Hailey Dunn, were found outside of Scurry County on March 16, 2013. Nobody's arguing that fact. Okay. That was 2 days after I'd emailed the Department of Justice and suggested they have somebody look in the underground homes here. She'd been missing for 2 years, and all of a sudden, poof, we found her, and all it took was me suggesting somebody to look here. What a coinky dinky. It's also a fact that now there are almost a dozen people documented saying that Hailey was killed in Odessa, Texas. And this includes an eyewitness and many details of where, when, who, etc. It's a fact that the press has also hidden this from the public. It's a fact that those child killers have never been arrested for her murder. So it's a fact you better watch your kids because them people are still out there somewhere. It's a proven fact that Homeland Security Agent Paul asked me why I wouldn't consider selling my home since I believed that I was under the threat of death at the Home Depot store on July 2nd, 2019. It's recorded. They recorded it. It's also a fact that I then explained the Hobbs Act to him on that same recording made by them, which says it's illegal for criminals to conspire with corrupt law enforcement to terrorize a property owner into selling their property while under threat. And what I explained to him was, if he would arrest these killers that are breaking into my home, then I don't have to move and nobody else has to move. That's why we're calling law enforcement, not so they can gain my property. It's a proven fact that I showed Homeland Security where I believe the human trafficking murder tunnels were going to my house behind Home Depot store, and 2 weeks later the ground was dug up and concrete was being poured. I got a video on it. I have a video of them and me and them behind Home Depot 2 weeks earlier too. It's also a fact that a few weeks later, U.S. Congressman Conway announced his retirement. Oh, what timing, ain't it? Remember, his brother-in-law used to live across the street. It's also a fact that Secretary of Homeland Security Kevin McLennan and Secretary of Energy Rick Perry resigned 2 months after that. Do you think it's because they were tampering with evidence to cover up multiple murders and they got caught on video? You think that might be? And Rick Perry used to be governor of Texas when I was ambushed and shot by somebody under my home, and it's suspected oil show parties were going on there, and he's Secretary of Energy, oil show, energy, oil show. Do you get that? You got that connection? It's a proven fact that I posted a story on my Facebook called Artesia Suspects. And 4 hours later, Vice President Pence announced he was traveling to the small town Artesia. It's a fact that the woman who told me about the $1 million underground homes on the recorded phone call said it was connected with a wealthy oil man from a town near Hobbs that starts with an A, and that would be Artesia. It's a fact that Mac Chase from Artesia sold Marbob for over $1 billion to Concho Oil Company in Midland. It's a fact that the neighbor in the home a half block away works for Concho. It's a fact that my daughter's mom moved my daughters to Artesia when they were young. It's a fact that my youngest daughter lives in Artesia right now. It's a proven fact that Lance Eggleston told me, we have access to your residence at all times. Nobody will ever believe your story. You will be silenced, not if, but when. And I wrote back and I said, when are you going to murder me, Lance? It's also a fact that this was only one of many death threats that I've gotten since crawling out to survive a home invasion, premeditated capital murder attempt. It's a fact that many people have asked, suggested, ordered me to sell my home and move while I live under the threat of death. One guy told me, he says, you have two choices. He says, you can either move or you meet God early. It's a proven fact that I was ambushed and shot when Obama and Biden were president and vice president. Hillary was Secretary of State. And I wrote Obama back then, right? And it's also a proven fact that I was contacting Trump before he got elected, hoping he was going to drain the swamp and the crimes would stop. And that's a proven fact. The crimes have never stopped. That is only some of them. I could go over every home and say it's a proven fact that a woman in Alabama crawled in her attic, made a video, and showed me a man-sized crawl space behind her bedroom wall. That's another video I have. There's videos, phone recordings, and print screens, and police reports, medical records. There's so much evidence. It's to the point of absurdity. And they're literally killing one homeowner after another. And the truth is, all I did was move here. Worked all my life, saved my money, bought a home, and come here and bought this home that was already rigged. My home and many others are rigged like it. I'm looking back and I'm thinking, it's a fact that in 2002, my daughter told me that there was a light on in the attic in my Hobbs home. Okay, I thought it was the ex-wife at the time, the late Cindy Barton. Found out in 2018, she tells me I wasn't in your friggin' attic. And if she wasn't, that means somebody else was. It's a fact that home in Hobbs was built by my first in-laws, the Callaways. It's a fact that I've wondered if they didn't install a tunnel going from that home over to my home. It's a fact if I don't think that I haven't been a victim of this crime ring, a human trafficking crime ring, for 30 years or more. Anyway, let's just stick with the evidence. That's all I do, and make the world safer. This is Buddy. Talk to you later.